Russia is at war with its neighbor Ukraine. The country has the biggest nuclear arsenal in the world, and its head, Vladimir Putin, is unpredictable, to say the least. So when he talks about a nuclear war, it is a matter of concern. Russia successfully carried out the test of a new generation nuclear-powered cruise missile. And during that announcement, he said this.
Because from the moment the missile launch is detected, no matter where it comes from, any point of the world's oceans or from any territory, in a retaliatory counterstrike, so many hundreds of our missiles will appear in the air that not a single enemy will have a chance of survival in several directions at once.
The experimental weapon is known as Burevestnik. It's known as Skyfall by NATO. The weapon has faced many trial failures over the past years. It was reportedly involved in an accident leading to multiple fatalities too. The Burevestnik missile was first mentioned by Putin in 2018. It is a ground-launched, low-flying cruise missile that is capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. It can stay aloft for a much longer time than any other missile, and it can cover much more distance due to nuclear propulsion. So why is this concerning? Let's look at what Russia's nuclear principle states. The decree says Russia will only use nuclear weapons on one condition: if another state provokes an attack with a weapon of mass destruction. But the decree stating this ends with an unusual statement. Nuclear weapon will also be used in the case of aggression against the Russian Federation with the use of conventional weapons when the very existence of the state is put under threat. Now, this is vague. And what makes this dangerous is a statement Putin made after he invaded Ukraine. He said, and I quote, "For our country, it is a matter of life and death, a matter of our historical future as a nation. It is not only a very real threat to our interests, but to the very existence of our state and to the sovereignty of Russia." But at the tactical level, however, the situation is different. There is a drone, or there's a doctrine in place of no first use. But because Russia's wording and intentions are uncertain, these kinds of statements call for worry worldwide. The threat of nuclear weapon has surfaced multiple times in the last 18 months of the war. The problem is because Putin has not pressed the red button in the past, that doesn't mean that he will not press it in the future. And for more on this, we were earlier joined by Peter Kuznick, a professor of history and director of the Nuclear Studies Institute at American University. And this is what he had to say.
Because even though no nation, no rational, no sane person would launch a nuclear attack, these things can happen either out of desperation or by accident or miscalculation. The longer this war goes on, from the very beginning, Biden said that the U.S. goal is to defeat Russia militarily, or have Ukraine defeat Russia militarily. But he has also said that if Russia were in a position where it is being defeated militarily, it would possibly resort to using nuclear weapons. And so our policy is in some ways contradictory, because we are provoking Russia, we say, to be using these nuclear weapons. But we all know from all the tests that have occurred, all the war games that have been done, once a nuclear exchange happens, it's very difficult to stop it. So the prospect of a limited nuclear war is not very, very likely, which means that it could easily escalate into a full-scale nuclear war, which is what we're talking about when we talk about mutually assured destruction. We know that even a limited nuclear war between India and Pakistan, in which 100 Hiroshima-sized nuclear weapons would be used, could cause up to 2 billion deaths. But there are 13,000 of these weapons in the world now, and they're much, much bigger than the Hiroshima weapons. So we're in a precarious situation, because as you say, the war situation is getting more desperate. And now with the seemingly failed Ukrainian counteroffensive, it looks like this war is going to continue. And the NATO and the West continue to put more and more powerful weapons at the disposal of the Ukrainians. And the Ukrainians have been hitting not only inside Crimea, but inside Russia. And so the dangers of escalation are very, very real and very frightening.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.